welcome to the John Keim Report. You know the drill. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and keep enjoying our content that we're pumping out here. Before I get to my conversation with an impassioned Rick Doc Walker, I wanted to go over a couple things. And by the way, I'm going to appear on Doc Walker's podcast early this week, so look for that as well. Doc's always a great guest, and I think you're going to like his passion in what he would term, basically, to sum it up, very much a prove it to me kind of year. But before I play that, let's talk about the Dan Snyder situation based off the article in USA Today that came out Saturday night, written by USA Today's Jarrett Bell, a very respected, highly experienced reporter, trustworthy. He talked to a few owners and they discussed mounting frustration, and there was a lot of, are they ready to count votes or not? So I'm not going to comment so much on what somebody else wrote per se, because I don't know who he talked to. I know he talked to owners and I trust him. But I want to tell you about what I know with this situation, because I think people are getting a little bit maybe going too far with extrapolating information from this or with where this might be going. So let's talk about what I know. What I know is there's no vote scheduled for Dan Snyder, for owners to vote on Dan Snyder at this point. Nothing scheduled. So that's one. Two, I don't think right now that they'd have anywhere near 24 votes that it would take to force him to sell. Is there frustration with him? And let me say this, I haven't talked to every owner. I'm just getting a sense from what I talk to people whether around the league or even other people who have ties to owners. So, and I think it takes a leap to go from a couple guys are frustrated to then everybody's willing to vote him out. I don't think we're there yet. So anyway, that's just my sense right now. Is there frustration with him? Yes, and there has been for a while. Do other owners dislike him? Yeah, that's also been true for a long time. Both those things were true before these stories even came out 2 years ago. So 2 years ago at this point, before a single article had been written about the other allegations and all that, other owners did not like him. And other owners would have said, would they like him out? Yeah, sure. So keep that in mind. So imagine how it would be right now with a lot of those owners as well. I do know that some owners a couple months ago who had said that they didn't want to vote because of they didn't want to vote him out because of a bad precedent, perhaps have changed their stance a little bit. And I think then it depends on what else comes out with these investigations that remain ongoing into both the sexual harassment or sexual allegations about inappropriate behavior or the financial allegations, both of which Snyder and the team have strongly denied. So that's what we know with there. And keep in mind, I do think for it to ever get to the vote and for them to ever vote, I think you're going to have to rise above. Let's back up for 1 minute. If we all consider that all these other owners have skeletons in their closet, it's going to take something from Snyder that tops those skeletons so they can feel comfortable going and saying, yes, it's time to kick him out. It's time to force him to sell, because they know that he's going to go scorched earth on them. And so they need to know that whatever he's done is above what maybe he would accuse them of doing or what others would accuse them of doing as well. And so I don't know that we're certainly not at that point yet. But again, let's see what else comes out. What I also know, he's not going to be forced to sell. So if you're thinking that this is going to do it, it's not. He's not going to be forced to sell because, again, they've strongly denied these allegations. Why would he then go sell? Because some of the other owners have said this anonymously or maybe are more frustrated. So I don't think that's going to be an issue here. So more to come. Let's see how it unfolds. I don't want to give you false hope on anything. I'm just trying to give you what I know and stick to that, because that's all I can do. And I hope you feel like it's the responsible thing to do, because if I go to certain areas without having the information, I think that's irresponsible. So that's where we're at right now. So let's get back to the football field and let's bring on Rick Doc Walker. Doc, it is always good to see you and to talk to you. One of my favorite things to do. But before we get into talking about the Commanders and Burgundy and Gold and all that, let people know what you're doing now, where they can find you. I know you got your podcast. Let them know.
Yeah, on Patreon and patreon.com/Doc Walker. Very simple. I'm one of 3 million other people. I mean, it's no big thing. Yeah, I'm just following your lead and waiting to get the Keimster. When I got you and I'm on your show, I hear about it. People go, oh, so there you are. So my deal now is how can I get on with the John Keim format even more? That's all I got to do now.
Well, that check you sent certainly helps. So I appreciate that. But it's always great to talk to you. So one thing I'm curious initially is, have you gotten used to Commanders yet?
I'm getting better. I pause. By nature, I just pause. Every time I go to Washington, Commanders. And
I do the same thing.
I know, because I just, it's not like I'm saying a bad word. It's a word I'm not accustomed to. The whole team deal, until I see them in the opener, the preseason will work. I just need to see them in the uniform.
Right.
They had the mannequin, and that don't work for me. I need to see human being in that uniform together, and then it'll be instantly for me. I mean, every franchise that has changed, Wizard, I love the Bullets. I still do. I just think Wizards one of the worst things you could have ever done. But I still support it, because it becomes the people in the uniform, not the uniform.
Well, and to that point, I grew up in Cleveland, as you know. I'm an Indians fan. They're now the Guardians. And I know a lot of people had an issue with that in the offseason. Yeah, but I'm watching the games because it still says Cleveland on it. And you're right. Like I'm not watching the quote unquote Guardians. I'm watching Jose Ramirez. I'm watching, Owen Miller. I'm watching Shane Bieber. So I do think it matters. Once you start watching the games, the name becomes secondary in a lot of ways. I know that the memories and all that, I get all that. I mean, to 1,000,000%, I get all that. But once I started watching the games, it becomes more about the players themselves, and the fact that it still says Cleveland on it. So, we'll see how it happens here. But the other thing is, like, Washington is really changing the look too. Cleveland, the Indians, the Guardians did not change their look necessarily. And I don't know if that makes it easier or not, where it's not this like, oh my God. Whereas I think with this team, but I think for some people it may look pretty good, we'll see.
I'm numb to it, because I've never cared about anything other than the scoreboard.
Right.
I just want to win. And I don't care if they were called the Elephants and they were wearing pink and green. I'm exhausted. I have no more patience. I've been played. I feel like from a consumer standpoint, and you don't have to stay with the team. You don't have to keep following the team. You do that by choice. Nobody's forcing you to do this.
Right.
I'm following the John Allen, the guys that I have connected with. When you work around it, you're around them.
Right.
I was on that sideline by that D line. I mean, those guys, they allowed me in to their world, because I'm working right there all during the game. Right. So you're hearing every moment, and they know they're not going to be betrayed. I heard all kind of things. That's their thing, and I got that respect from them, because the stuff I heard, the things is amazing. But then when you're separated from that environment, it's got to be like the beat guy at the old newspaper, or whatever, the guy who told all the story.
Right.
You never know what happens to him when he's not there. And so now, do they change the name? Then they change the color. Everything's involved. And I just go, you know what? It becomes about the guys in the uniform for me.
Right.
I'm saddened. Haskins lost. That's a humanity. That's a loss. That's somebody that I felt like could have been saved. Yeah. I feel partly responsible for not getting the job done as a member of a community. We got to gear our young people and help them. It's like a maturation thing. We've all been young and dumb. We survived it. Okay.
Yep.
But it was because of vets and about neighbors. It's about a community thing with it. Twitter, everybody hates everything now.
Yeah.
It's and everybody's schedule. And then the hype of the NFL. Man, they're so good. They got, even the NBA had me watching the lottery pick. I go, why am I watching this? I know the Wizards, because there's a 3% chance that the Wizards could get. And that's because I'm a junkie. So I'm sitting here embarrassed watching this. I go, man, they got me. I'm all in. And I want to see some success. I'm the guy that you can no longer sell any product to, because I'm now so bitter over not winning.
Right.
I want a playoff game. I want to win a playoff game. I saw the Rams. I saw Sean. I've seen people that were here, and now they're winning, and they're getting rings, and they're winning. And that to me, I'm going, how long am I going to just settle for this? I'm never settling for it. So that's where I'm at. I don't say, oh, I don't like you, I'm not going to follow you. No, I love you. And I'm going to hold you to a higher standard. And I'm going to demand that you succeed.
Oh, listen, that's the only way it should be, right? Because that's, if you want to build a certain type of team, it only comes from those level of expectations. I mean, listen, you're USC, I'm Ohio State. Like, they achieve those levels because there is that sort of expectation and pressure by a community. And it's, so at some point you've got to do it or you're not. And do you think that this team, when you look at this team right now, the way that what they've done in the offseason, are you encouraged or what do you think?
Well, I'm numb because, again, I'm the guy, once you've been burned over and over, I go, all that matters to me is beating Jacksonville.
Right.
And so are they moving closer to that? Yeah, I believe they are. But college draft to me is an appreciation for what you did. It has nothing to tell me what you're going to do.
Right. Because
I can't anticipate you were eating out of a dorm, you were in an apartment, you were driving a 65 Chevy, now all of a sudden you're pulling up in a Bentley and your bank account is swole. Now, how do I know that you're going to do what you did to get that once you get? We've seen this happen here.
Time and time again.
Because they slobber all over people before they produce. I'm done with that.
Yeah,
Right now, I'm not hating, but I'm not praising either. Carson Wentz is on the clock with me.
Oh, yeah.
Not about his skills. He got talent. Neck up. I got to find out, is he going to grow up and be a leader of men and win? Okay, I don't know that. So I got to wait and see. Now, suppose he gets hurt the first quarter. Who's going in? What happened to Heineke ain't his fault. As a matter of fact, he did a hell of a job under the circumstances.
He did.
But I'm not planning on that. I'm planning on being better. So that's up to the people that they chose to run it and produce. Or are you just getting paid for going through the motions? That's their decision, not mine. But what I am expecting is to win. I've seen it done. I was a part of it being done. And I'm not falling for no okie doke. I want results. And I demand it. But I got your support. You got my support. 100% support. But I don't care about the hype. I want to see you have a full contact, something, before you play a real game. That's your choice, how you do it. They don't want to scrimmage, but show me what you're going to do to improve ability to tackle once this becomes real.
That is, I agree 1,000%. And, I feel bad for the fans here because a lot of times they've been sold that, hey, this year is different, and then it's not. So what little things, when you look over the years, whether it's this regime or other ones, what little things do you not see that add up to that lack of success?
Well, again, you can't speak looking outside a house to find out what's going on in the house. So I don't have X-ray vision. So if I don't see you practice, I can't answer that. All I can judge them by is the results. That's not my job to evaluate that. That's your job. That's what you do for a living. You're a beat guy. You're there every day, and that's great. I missed that. I don't have access to that. So all I can do is see the results. What I know is that whatever you've done in the past, you should consider scrapping it. You should consider altering it because it hasn't produced the results that I'm interested in. If you're cool with being mediocre and being 500, then hey, if they'll keep paying you for that, why wouldn't you keep getting it? Doesn't fit my criteria. We don't get to 10 or 11 wins. To me, there's a problem.
Yeah.
We either had severe injuries or you blew it. But I'm not settling for under 500. I'm done. I'm saying, okay, you wanted access. We got access. You went out and you overpaid for a guy that may end up paying off for you. But if not, I'm not forgetting the fact that you telegraphed your thing. You didn't have to run around telling people what you were going to do. Just do it. Because once you tell everybody something, you were pressured into making a move because you ran your mouth. See? And so now it may work. But if it doesn't, you strap yourself. To me, that's not the kind of move I'm expecting out of a, quote, experienced group. Make me scratch my head. Maybe they're right. So we don't know. Only time will tell. So in the meantime, hey, I'm your biggest supporter. I'm supportive of it, but beware, okay? You can't sell me again on another campaign. I want to know what we got, what you're going to do. The draft, I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be fine with it? You got a kid I know is fast. He can catch. We drafted guys here in the first round that couldn't catch, okay? You know it and I know it.
Yep.
We've had receivers here that couldn't catch, okay?
50-50.
Yeah, great evaluation. Love the way you use your scouts. So all I'm saying is that, man, I ain't that guy. You can't do that to me anymore. You got to produce. And so training camp, if they don't scrimmage, I'm not going to be happy. If they don't play people in the preseason that are young and have never played in the NFL, I'm not going to be happy. But if they win the first game against Jacksonville, doing it their way,
right. Well, listen, like that's always the proof is what happens in the fall. Whatever you do, like for example, the Rams a few years ago stopped playing their starters in the preseason.
Yep.
Well, they go out and win, so it worked for them.
Yeah.
Other teams that did not work for, and I felt like here that they wouldn't play their guys preseason, but they didn't learn enough about them until 4 games into the regular season when changes started to be made. So how do you get that information before the regular season? By the way, I owe you an apology because I think I accidentally said USC for you. And that would be like,
I didn't respond to it because.
Well, it would be like if you had said, John.
No, again, when a Buckeye makes a mistake, I kind of expect it. It's not like the amazing blue guy. If you were Wolverine, that I would have said, but I go, okay.
Well,
look,
I'm still stung by those UCLA Rose Bowl wins over Ohio State in the 70s. You know, that I felt cheated out of a national title back when I was a tiny kid.
You had a shot, you showed up, 26-10, final score. Hey, great guys on that team. You guys have a hell of a team. Matter of fact, you were undefeated. You had a hell of a team.
I'm still bitter.
If you don't finish, then you end up like our program here.
Right.
Look, the band is coming back. I'm happy about all that. You can't get that. Look, I'm sorry. I'm a bad interview because I can't help you fill a 3-hour block with garbage. You know, everybody, blah, blah. What do you think? Who cares? All I care about is the results. You can't sell me now on your process because your process has failed. I've never seen the process work. So what I'm looking now for is flat out results.
Yeah.
And I think a sense of urgency that if I were in a position of power, I would request that the young men understood what I meant by it. And that was get me results. Any means possible.
Right. And to that point, now I'm with you. Like, to me, this team has to win, I would say 10 games. Win, and if you
minimum.
go 9-8, 9-8, I think is like, it's all right.
No, I'm not doing that.
I'm with you. 10 wins and 10 wins and a playoff win.
Playoff victory.
Yeah.
We got to take another step.
Yeah.
We got to take another step. I mean, look, I'm happy. I wish somebody would pay me not to produce. That's a great deal. I ain't mad. You know, all I'm saying is that I'm not the guy to ask, well, what do you think about the 6th pick? I love it. I love our middle round picks because they're usually our best players. And Chase Roulier is a perfect example of it.
Yeah.
You know, if I look at my best safety, see, we're really good in the middle rounds. Okay, we're not too good up top. Our second round
hit
people
up top,
should be,
you get
should be boiled. So what I'm saying is that if that's a trend, is anybody ever going to inquire about it? Make sure are we going? So okay, maybe we're done. We got Marty, we got Martin, we got all. Okay, good. I like what they brought in. They brought in guys, to me, the only question mark is the quarterback because of the system he ran. Carolina's not responsible for feeding the NFL. They're trying to win college games. And McNamara, they've done a hell of a good job at that. Kid's got a little game in him that reminds me of Joe T. I like a guy that knows some people have doubted him.
Right.
And now he's got to learn the system. But suppose, like Heineke's thrown in week 1 because Fitz gets hurt. It's not his fault. I'm hoping this kid gets to mature. I hope they can kind of baste him like you would a good steak for a year or so. I like that pick. But we're in a winning business. So maybe he got to play in the second quarter of week 1. So that's up to Coach Turner, who I respect. And I know that he's been a little bit hamstrung by his personnel. But now, man, we got a real running back. We're not converting. We're not got a project. We got a real Stephen Davis type downhill runner. I love that. I love it. Don't fumble either. Not a fumbler. I love that.
He's like,
So,
yeah. I like Robinson. Like, I like him because he does a good job creating good situations for himself with vision, with patience. He's not an explosive guy, but there were a couple runs he had in games where I'm like, he created that by whether it's his forward lean, whether it's the setting guy up and creating arm tackles with a cutback. And that's how you move the chains. And I think he and the combination, if he had Gibson, but here's the thing, like, you've got to use that combination, right? And I think they have a chance to have a really good run game because of those two, if the line produces the way it needs to.
when is it not? A
That's
Nebraska.
always that way.
They've always, that's my point.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time. Driving around town, people going, I go, no, your ifs should be going on everything behind the line.
Right.
That's where your
right.
ifs
You're
come
right.
in. The ifs are not up front. The ifs are behind it. If he holds on to the ball, if he can do, if he's
if he
healthy,
makes the right read.
if he go, got the big boys up front, they've been doing their job. So give them some credit and support them with it. And they need that by the quarterback. All they need is a guy that can get them out of the, you can't play 8 in the box with a guy that can hit you over the top. You played us in the past. Only a moron wouldn't have put 8 in the box against us and dared us to throw. Because if our wide receiver is not a contortionist, then, the guy is twisting. He's making miraculous catches instead of just going out and catching the ball and scoring. So now they can hopefully solve that. And maybe if the kid gets hurt day one, maybe Heineke has improved or will get rid of the ball quicker or will be a little bit more like Drew Brees and find those windows.
Right.
Because he can't see over the line.
Right.
That's everything. He wants to do it. He's capable of doing it. I love his moxie.
Me too.
But his record, it's not good enough. I cannot be boxed into that. And woulda, shoulda, coulda. Well, look what the kid in the Raiders corner could catch. This thing would have been over earlier than it was. We had 1 month, November, that we played our style of football. That was what it went. How'd that go? Special teams. We got a big play here, big play there. Well, that guy's gone. So hopefully the kid from Penn State can help us. Return guy. Right. We got to generate scoring outside of offense. We got to do all the little things. Joe Gibbs, 101. We got to win on teams first.
Right. Well, and I think that's what I was going to ask you too, because and I know like sometimes people get tired of, well, back in my day, but the bottom line is you played on great teams. What are some of the little things that separate a great, because like, it's not like you guys always had this, like the unbelievable talent. So what separates, there you go. And you guys beat them, but what separates that team from one that maybe gets, you know what I mean? Like what's the separator between, in terms, if you have teams that are somewhat even in talent, what's the separator?
Mike Nelms and Brian Mitchell. Those are separators. We win all the yardage gains. Because we have better return yardage than you do. Then it's our kill guys. It's the Quentin Lowry's of the world. It's Greg Williams, it's Otis Wansley, it's Scrappy, it's guys covering kicks and making people fair catch. All those things add up. We win the field position deal. We force turnovers and we don't turn it over. I haven't mentioned one thing about skill other than what, the return guys have. Mark Mosley, the league MVP. We don't miss field goals. He's human, but overall, we're going to make way more than you do. See, and then we're going to block some. It's all the little things that aren't glamorous. You can't market. You know what I mean? You don't need a Madison Avenue sales team to market our deal because it was boring. It was not something you could market. Yeah, Hogs ended up being marketed, but don't forget we also had the Pearl Harbor crew. All right. So we got a crew that is marketing that because they had to try to throw because they couldn't run. You're number one versus the run. You also got JR. You got Big Country. We pound the rock. It ain't sexy, but it is effective. We have control of the clock. We win the possession. All the boring little things that you hardly ever hear anymore.
But that's true. Why. And that's why I say, football to me is such a nuanced game. For example, this is why there's 2 draft picks I like for exactly the reasons you state. One is Fedarian Mathis.
Louisiana.
Yeah, and the Louisiana kid. Thank you. I love that kid.
I knew it.
Because here's why. And I told him at the rookie minicamp, I said, I don't know how many guys I've seen where half of your highlights, and I mean this as a compliment, are on kick coverage or punt coverage. Hallelujah. That's where, I'm with you. And I know that, and I was talking to somebody about this, Sean Taylor played special teams because he wanted to set a tone. And I brought that up, a lot of these safeties talk about Sean, I want to emulate him, and then they don't play special teams. Now, as someone else pointed out, well, sometimes they don't, obviously you're not going to want all your starters out there, but that kid's going to be out there. Even if he's one of the 3 safeties rotating and playing a lot, he'll be out there because, first of all, he has a passion for it, and he can make a difference there. That kid wants to get down there and hit somebody, and he'll be fun to watch in that regard. So, yeah. And I say Mathis. So, those are Mathis. I say because he'll do the dirty work up front that you're not going to see others do. You may not see the flashy sack, but if Cole Holcomb is getting to more ball carriers in a better position,
don't forget about Mayo too. I listen to you guys in your market. You never mention Mayo.
Oh, no.
I go, no. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I mentioned him.
Look, I like jamming. It wasn't his fault. It's even in surgery, we've had surgeons operate on the wrong knee and the wrong hand. It has happened. I'm not making it up. Yeah. But when you are really good at something and somebody brings you to their family and they go, oh, no, you got to eat with your left hand. Well, hold it. Why? Well, we just want to try it. Okay. Right. Then say you're a bum because you can't. That ain't fair to him.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. We got a guy on this team that's played middle linebacker. That's pretty damn good at it.
Well, let me say this. Yeah. And here's what I say, because the reason I brought up Mayo is that Eagles game was a distinct, his impact in that game was big. And it wasn't just because, it was because, first of all, I know that the talent for him, he's probably better as a backup. You need to upgrade that position. We get all that. But it's I always tell people, you need somebody with his kind of traits who's maybe better. But what he added in that game was the knowledge. He knew how to beat the double teams, and Cole Holcomb played free. Now, ideally, you get that with Cole and Jamin Davis, but are they at the point yet where Cole, not just Cole can recognize, but he has to recognize, relay it to Jamin, and then go make the play himself. So that's a thing that you don't know, where are they at with it? But that is, so Mayo, to me, that game was eye-opening because of what he added in that game. And again, I'm not saying that he should be the starter, but I felt like what he added is what they need at a higher level. I'm with you there.
Why couldn't he be the starter? Why couldn't he be? He'd be my starter. Because, I've got to win now. See, sense of urgency. I have to win now. And I have to beat Jacksonville. I got to beat the Jags. So whoever, my best 22 got to play. It's nothing personal. I don't care. I just want the best guys in there so I can win the game. Win the damn game. I don't care what round you're drafted in. I don't care how many commercials you currently have going. You either get your behind vaccinated. If you had to be vaccinated, you follow the rules or you don't play. You wouldn't even be on my team. Okay. We got to man up. They're not playing for charity. Okay. This is pro ball. And I just wish that message would echo over there so we'd stop hearing these excuses and just really focus on results. We do that. I think we got Hey, the band is even coming back. So how can you not win at home with the Burgundy and Gold marching band?
I'll be glad to hear that. I've missed them the last 2 years, even though like they don't have this wide range of music, but they add to the atmosphere, and I miss that.
Yeah. Well, you had a band. The one thing Ohio State you got to do have good. Your band is awesome.
The one thing.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, what have you done lately? All I'm asking is that what have you done lately?
Well, listen, as an alumnus, I'm saying the same. I'm asking the same thing. So I'm with you. Like, it's funny because I have in my garage, I have a 2002 national championship thing. Like, they won in 02, they won in 14. It's like, they got to win again. Like, this is for the talent they have, for the program they have, you got to win again. So I'm with you on that. Like,
let me tell you what, the kid at Alabama was at Ohio State.
I know.
And if he don't get hurt, he's the number one guy. I'm going, they are loaded. I'm going, how'd you guys lose to Michigan?
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because they couldn't run the ball. They weren't physical enough up front. They had basically four tackles along the line. And like, you need to have guys with a certain mentality. They weren't physical enough up front, and I thought it hurt them. And like, they couldn't have a couple different styles of offense. I thought that was a big factor. I thought Hutchinson really did a nice job against them. That was the game that convinced you this kid can play. There was, and plus, like, even a blind squirrel, Doc. But listen, Michigan won that game. I'm not going to deny that. And as an Ohio State fan, it's like, okay, you've got to get better now. You can't just say, well, we're Ohio State, we'll come back next year. No, you've got to get better. And they have done so much self-introspection that's what you need to get better. That's a big thing.
That's why I'm here with Washington.
Are you willing to make changes to get to that point, whether it's changing philosophy, tweaking with how you do things? You can't assume improvement.
Well, okay, now that's after just one time stubbing your toe.
Yeah.
We've stubbed ours now the last 22 years.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. At some point, it's not a blame game. I'm exhausted. I don't have time for that. But I do think we have the personnel that you need if they'll play as a unit. They're not talented enough to freelance.
Right.
They have got to play. And I think you've heard the coaches kind of say it. I'm going, why on earth are you telling us that? Go tell them. Yeah. When I don't like coaches pandering to fans saying, no, dude, fix it and give me results. Don't kill the press conference. That's why I like Del Rio's press conference. 2 minutes. Yeah, I did go. Because there's nothing to talk about. We saw your body of your work. Tell us how you're going to get better at it and then say goodbye.
Jack doesn't give me a whole lot to work with.
I love Jack. Oh, God, I love Jack. I wish he was in charge. I wish he was the only guy that spoke. I really do. Because it is really what he's doing. He's telling you the truth. You just don't want to hear it.
Well, he also is not going to say a whole lot. And
he should.
And there are times where you can, with him, it's like you can kind of read between the lines, which is what you have to do. But because a lot of times you can't read anywhere else because he doesn't give you a whole lot to work with. He's an old school linebacker who's like, and he was in the media. He knows what it's like.
Oh no, he gets it. He knows everything. Let me tell you what. He gets it. And I'm not sure that I think he's a little bit of a porcupine, which I think I love that. But I think they embraced him. See, I thought he had to go through a thing with his group.
Yeah.
And he won them over. I think he won them over. And I really do believe that then there was may have been a disconnect, but only because some of the guys weren't there. Just look how much better they got when they lost their quote assets.
You know why? Because they had to adjust.
Team.
They had to team, and they also had to adjust. I think the coaching had to adjust. They started going more zone with the secondary, and they also applied more pressure on third downs after that. And like, so they were relying too much on guys to do things to win their battles. And, I think they did a better job creating, but you also had guys do your job. There's a reason why that phrase works in the NFL.
Setting the edge.
Yeah.
Setting the edge. Williams. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, man.
I like him.
Even when their cats come back. See, and again, I'm not a coach, but I damn sure can just put you in on third down. I can make you the designated pass rushers. See, I can have you butt off the field on first down. Because if you don't do it my way, you don't play. It's just that simple. Because I can't win with you. So why in the world would I be kissing your behind and you've given me no results? That's what I saw out of that team in November. It was a beautiful thing. We got one clown don't want to play a position. You put him down to quote Buffalo nickel, all of a sudden, wow, we look like the 85 Bears. But nobody's comfortable with their role. Well, I do what? I cut your ass. Now let's find out how comfortable you are after June 1. Okay, now you have no suitors. You comfortable now? See, I'm just saying, I don't have patience for crap unless you're winning. I'm the best guy in the world. We're 14-2. We can talk, have fun. No, not under 500, getting your ass kicked every other way. I'm not having it.
Doc, this is why I love talking to you. It's awesome. And I think you're speaking for a fan base where it's like they're saying this. I can't tell you how many, I can't hear it right now because it'll be played later, but the number of amens and preach were probably off the charts listening to you. So
well, no, but I'm not, but a lot of fans I'm disappointed in. And a lot of them, I fired them because they're quitters. They quit on the team. I'm not quitting. You hear quit my voice?
You just want you want results.
No, and I support the hell out of them.
Right.
Okay. They don't even let me in the bill. I'll support you. I want to win despite you, is what I'm telling you. Because you ain't shown me nothing yet. And I'm just waiting to see it. I heard a lot about it. And so I'm just waiting to see the results. And so, yeah, I'm all in for them. But I like these kids. I like this draft. But you know me, I'm an undrafted free agent guy.
I know.
I can't wait. Oofers. Because those are the guys that have shown me that's the best results they usually bring us. And why is that? Because you got guys in there that are hungry.
Well, that makes
not running around trying to figure out what color their Bentley's going to be.
Right.
They're figuring out what they're checking out at the end, by the little end. It's just a mindset that we've gotten away from. We used to be a blue collar approach to it. Then we went to that Park Avenue crap, and we've never recovered.
Right.
And all I'm saying is that just show up and fight as Joe would say, fight your guts out. And chances are we'll win.
There you go. Doc, you're the best. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, John. I really appreciate it. And have you had Kevin on this week?
No.
Good. Then I feel in a special space. You tell him I said that. All right.
I will do that. Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, Buckeye. All right.
Thanks, Bruin. Hey, everybody, it's John Keim. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and I'll continue to bring you guests who provide excellent insight into the Washington Commanders. And while you're here, check out the other terrific content on the Empire Media Network, including Inside the Cap with Joel Corey and All's Caps with Steve Wino and former Washington Capital Carl Alsner. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Thank you.